So weird. So it's like the reverse now. You have to start the stream and then like start your streaming software. I don't understand.
It's
This is
uh,
strange.
neither do I. Like it creates
Wait,
it,
wait,
but it
wait.
doesn't actually set up.
You start the stream and then you connect to the stream with
It,
with OBS.
I don't know. I mean
yeah,
that's
like
what it seems
you
like to me.
create the
It's kind of weird.
stream and then you connect to it. It's strange.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, we're live.
we are live. I was about to say. All right. Yo, everyone. Welcome. Hopefully, audio is gonna be okay. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, let me share this.
All right. Awesome. I hope everyone in the chat is doing all right today. I think it's been a busy day for everyone, to be honest. It's one of those days. Yeah. Today I am with Fred, Reece, and Garrett. We did attempt to get 5 people in here, but sadly that won't happen this week. Maybe another week. I don't know. But we'll see. But yeah, we don't really know what we're going to talk about as usual. So yeah, we'll probably just sort of talk about whatever. And yeah, as usual, if you guys want to ask any questions along the way, feel free to. We'll finish our sentences as best we can. Bear in mind there are 4 of us, so it's a bit more difficult than it would be usually. So if you think we're like, not reading the comments and stuff like that, don't worry, we are, and we'll respond to the questions as soon as possible. Yeah, we'll get started in just a couple minutes. Make sure as many people can get in, because someone or multiple people were commenting on the fact that I didn't let enough people join at the start, and then they missed out on conversations. So, very rookie streamer error right there. But yeah, does everyone want to introduce themselves real quick? We can start off with Fred, I suppose.
Hi, my name is Fred. I'm from Stockholm, Sweden. I push pixels and sometimes make games. Hi.
Sometimes make games.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah. Reece, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so guys, I've been on Matt's dev chat before, so you might know me, but if you don't, I also make devlogs on YouTube. Right now I'm making a game called Monster Tower. It's kind of like a Pokemon monster catcher game, and just doing some game jam stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
And Garrett, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Garrett. I am a computer engineering student. I also do martial arts, and I'm currently making a game called Strung by Three, which is a martial arts combat exploration type game.
Sweet. Yeah, if any of you are interested in either Reece or Garrett, we do have 2 individual episodes on the channel. If you want to seek back another time and watch those, you can. And maybe one day I'll get Fred on as another solo one. But yeah, so as I said a couple of episodes ago, I said that every 3 episodes or so I try and get a group of people in. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to try it as hard as I can to do this. It's very difficult to get guests in, especially new ones. So, you might see a lot of recurring people quite a while, but, we'll see. So Rob quickly has a question, and he's asking, what is everyone's code? No, what is everyone's strength? Sorry. Yeah, what's your game dev strength? Start off with Fred again.
Okay.
Well,
I guess
no,
I'll start. I think my biggest strength in game development, whatever that is I guess more in terms of the marketing side. I think I'm pretty good at just interacting with people, getting to know people, and just not being afraid of rejection or anything like that. In terms of actual like skills, I think probably I wouldn't say pixel art because Fred's here, so I'd say probably just overall like game design and project management.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, don't compare yourself, dude.
Yeah, that's a
We're
golden
all
rule.
on our own
That's a
journey,
golden rule.
dude.
Yeah, you shouldn't compare yourself to others.
We're all at different stages in our journey, you know.
Yeah. So
Very true, very
how
true.
long have all of you been doing game development? I'm curious. I mean, I know Reece and I have been doing it the
11
same
years.
amount of time.
I started coding when I was 11, and I'm 22 now, so that's 11 years.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
7 years of
Yeah,
programming
4
for
years.
me, I think.
4 years.
Yeah, 7 years programming for me, but 4 game dev. So, yeah.
Dang. I guess what I've been doing the least. Well, I mean, I started. I think I made my first game. It was like 2015. It's like 5 years. But I wouldn't consider myself seriously doing it since like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, to be fair, I don't really. I think like I don't really care about how long people have been doing it. You know, even if you've been here for a month, you're part of the game dev community. So I don't know, but yeah, it is quite interesting because I feel like it's like sort of thing that you always have in your mind. You're always like, I wonder when that person started. You know, like it does sort of cross your mind every now and then. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy to even say 4 years, to be honest. But you know, so someone actually asked. They said it's a very important question, and they said, "Is everyone milk gang in this call?"
And I said in chat, because people were talking, I said that I do love milk, but I try to keep it on the down low to, it's not super not health. It's like, I'm a lactose intolerant, so I shouldn't drink it, but I do like it. I have in my coffee, but when I was younger, I could like chug a few liters a day, but not now.
A few liters a day, dang. I think Danny would be proud.
That's a lot of milk. I'm not really either. I'm kind of water gang, so.
Oh
don't
yes,
know.
water
Ooh.
gang.
Okay.
Yeah, no. What is my my poison?
Yeah, I'm actually wearing a shirt.
Alright, so let's see.
It actually says, I think on the back, it says "Water is God," but I don't know if you can see it.
Oh.
So I guess I like milk, but water is good too.
Water gang. Yeah, we've started a new trend. It's not like orange juice gang or milk gang. It's water gang. Okay, that's how it is now.
Stay hydrated, kids.
Yes.
Yeah, stay
exactly.
hydrated.
So, I don't really know what we want to talk about. Has anyone faced anything interesting recently that they want to talk about?
No. I had some issues with uni with instructions unclear, but I sorted that out. When uni starts, it's no time to actually work on your own stuff, you know.
Yeah.
True.
I can imagine that. Half a year away.
Yeah, I mean, challenges. I actually just recently started doing a combat system for my game. I've never done something like that before, like doing a turn-based combat system. So this past week and a half has been hell, like 10 hours a day kind of thing. And it's just, it's really cool because you're learning something new. And I don't know, but it's definitely very hectic. So, and preparing for the devlogs, it's just hectic, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, yours is it a turn-based combat, right? So I think I saw.
Yeah. I mean, kind of. Yeah. It's turn-based, but it's more like position-based.
Right.
So more of like a card game, kind of.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. I've never done a combat system like that before, so I'd probably be in the same boat. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't tried it.
yeah.
I think it's just a lot to like manage the
used
states and
to,
everything. 'Cause, like,
Yeah, you get used to stuff, and then I don't know, when you try something new and you kind of break that box, it's a scary thing, but it kind of makes me feel like I'm back at the beginning phases again. You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's fun.
You're a little young game dev once more. You're just barely hatching out of the egg, yeah. Yeah. I think that's the beauty of like game development, right? It's like whenever you like learn something new, like, there's always something new to learn, and like you're always plunged into the deep end of it, but like usually you come out on top. Usually, it depends on what you're doing. But majority of the time you can push yourself to do it, so it's quite interesting. Oh yeah, what games is everyone working on? I didn't even. That should be a pretty obvious one. Fred, do you want to tell everyone?
I'm currently working on something that I call Candlehead for now. It's an action platformer with a heavy emphasis on animations and stuff. My main inspirations are Mirror's Edge, Celeste, and Sekiro. And those are the kind of games that I want to capture the essence of in my game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hobby project that I do while I study CS at uni.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do. I also do contract work and freelancing for some games, other stuff. But my hobby project is Candlehead, and that's the one I upload devlogs on my channel.
Sweet. Reece, would you like to talk more about what you're working on?
So I mentioned earlier, I'm working on Monster Tower, which probably isn't going to be the final name because I found that apparently it's already used somewhere else. So you gotta, see what happens. But it's kind of like a Pokemon monster catcher game, but I want to add some different kind of elements from like crafting, doing like fishing and wood cutting and stuff like that, collecting resources, and I don't know. It's also a story-driven game, so there's a lot of elements to it, but again, I'm trying to keep it within a year to 2 years of development, so
Right,
hopefully I don't stray off too far.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using Game Maker Studios primarily for game development related activities. And yeah, as Fred said, I also do a little bit of freelance stuff on the side just to keep me afloat a little bit better.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Sweet. And Fred, what is your game engine? What do you use?
Game Maker Studio 2.
Haha. So on that side, oh wait, never mind. On in the Discord call, it's like completely different to what the layout is there. So, but that is interesting. Yeah, Garrett, do you want to walk people through what you're working on?
Yeah. So I guess first of all, I'm using Unity for my game, and it's a martial arts like combat and stealth game. I haven't exactly figured out how I'm gonna do it, but there will be martial arts and combat and stuff. I take a lot of inspiration from Assassin's Creed, so you can imagine it's probably be something like that.
Yeah, it feels like Fred and Garrett have a bit of a crossover in there in terms of the inspiration, because like I feel like a martial arts type thing would sort of bleed into like Sekiro sort of thing. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, I guess I could talk about mine because I know there are people from other channels coming over.
Yes, what are you working on?
Yeah, I'm working on a game called Millions of Minions. It's got about 2 months left of development. Pointing to Xbox at the moment. Pointing to Xbox and mobile. Mobile releases in 5 days. And yeah, it's a top-down dungeon crawler roguelite. in which rather than using like just normal guns and like, you know, rather than normal shoot 'em ups and stuff, you use minions, which, you know, you can spawn them in, not from nothing. It costs like energy and stuff, and then you can send these minions to attack the enemies or protect you from projectiles. And yeah, been working on that for almost a year. By the time we release it, we would have been a year into development. So yeah, that's my game.
Nice.
Yeah. So also Rob actually asked earlier, how do you keep the scope of your games tight? What are your sort of guidelines to keep your game in scope?
Okay, I can try. I was actually gonna make a video about this yesterday. I was supposed to make a video on this yesterday, but it didn't get out because I'm very, very busy. So maybe I'll release it another time. But I was actually gonna talk about this, and I'm not following my own advice, so maybe take my advice with a grain of salt. But I think that a great way to, at least for when you're starting projects, to kind of keep it in, is to maybe kind of either do it based off of a game jam or just something kind of like it. When I think of a game idea, I'll try to build it in 3 to 5 days, something like that, where I can get a lot of work done in the first like week of development. I mean, a lot more than that, but like you always start getting a lot done. But then as the project goes on, you kind of lose that steam. So I think it's really good if you can build your base project within like a week, and then from there you can just start adding more content to like assets and things like that. Then I think that that's a good way to go about it, because then you're never really going to get overstressed on these big ideas of things that you still need to implement, because the game at its core is complete. So
yeah,
that's what I would recommend, at least.
Yeah, like I think Jonas Tyrola touched on that in one of his videos, about like always have a finished product, and like all times throughout development. Now, I don't think anyone sticks to that advice, but it's definitely a good idea. But if anyone sticks to it, is that's anybody's guess, I suppose. I know that that's something that we didn't really do too much. I don't really know how we really stayed in scope. I mean, right at the start of the game, because initially, I guess, because the game was like, I guess it was made in a game jam for the first like initial build, right? Like the first in the Luden Dare. So I guess we kind of had a shippable game. Well, not really, not shippable, but like it was, the base game was there, so we just sort of expanded upon it. And there was like a time where we sort of thought maybe we could like branch off and make the game leak into next year, but then we kind of thought, well, it doesn't really make much sense for us to really do that. So yeah, we didn't really need to do too many changes. But yeah, I think if you have a structure for your game, like even if it's really basic, I think it helps you quite a lot. Like, a beginning, middle, end sort of thing. Like what you would like the end product to look like, sort of thing. And one thing that we're doing as a team very shortly is we're gonna try and identify everything that went wrong with this project and like put it in a list, so then we can look back at it and be like, okay, what I'm wrong, fix it up. And yeah, I mean, I think that's quite because you got to remember, like, game development as a whole is a learning experience, right? So it makes sense to read back on what you've done before and sort of identify what went wrong. It's a good learning experience that way, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Fred, how do you go about keeping a game in scope?
I don't.
Yeah,
it's a hobby. My game is a hobby project, and I don't really care if it takes me 2 years or 7 years, because I ain't getting paid to do it. I ain't relying on surviving on it. I'm just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And when it comes to contract work, it's really easy because someone just says, "Hey, we want you to do this. Here's money. Do it," and then I do it. So it's, the scope thing isn't really an issue
Yeah.
when I work.
Fair enough. Yeah. And
So I don't have the tips.
well, I mean, at least he's honest. Like, rather than just being like, yeah, you should make sure that you've planned everything out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I think that's also an important thing to touch on, though, because I think that as things have gotten more serious with like game dev in the past couple years,
Yeah.
especially on YouTube itself,
Oh yeah.
I find that everybody has this mentality of like do or die. Like if I don't make a successful indie game, then I'm failing. Where some people have that mindset. Some people are doing it for a job, for a living, trying to make a living out of it. But other people are just doing it for a hobby and keeping it as a hobby, because if you turn it into a job, it does get very stressful.
Yeah.
So like with Fred, he's he doesn't need a plan because he's not relying on that. So that's also something that's good, because I think that a lot of people could kind of reassess, like, is this a hobby or is it something I want to turn into a job? Because any job is going to become stressful. So it's not always going to be the ideal situation to do like game dev full time. So
yeah, I mean,
Very true.
you got any tips?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys said. Like, it definitely depends on your perspective of it.
Yeah.
Because like if it's, especially if it's like a hobby, like you shouldn't, like it shouldn't stress you. Like, I mean, if you, like we said, like if you want to make it into a job, then sure, it's a little bit different. But if you're just like making games for fun, then like don't really worry about how long it necessarily takes. Like I am one for saying like complete stuff. Like I wouldn't like have a bunch of unfinished projects. I'd like, that's a good way of, like, if you always have something playable, then that's kind of great, because at the end of the day, if like you lose motivation, you can still like release something, which I think is better than not releasing something.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely take count of like how you view it. Like if you want to make it a job, then it's probably better to maybe release sooner, like maybe work more on it, plan it more. But if you just do it for fun, then just do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think for me, because right now I'm like, I've got the whole stability from my parents and stuff, so I'm not like beforehand I wasn't too worried about it, but I guess because for me, I do want to make it my job, right? That is my goal for myself, and like I've set myself a target in the next 6 months. If like it doesn't end up being good enough for me, then I will go on to uni and go down that route. But I think it's important to keep it's definitely important to keep your options like open as much as you can, right? Like don't like close yourself off, like, and don't rely on one thing, because if you rely solely on like just like if you solely were focused on game development and you weren't like stable on it, then it's probably not the best of ideas to go down that route, and you should definitely make sure you know what, like, sort of like a fail safe, right? I think it's important. I mean, I don't know, I haven't got to that point, so I have I can't give my 2 cents too much on that, but that's how I sort of view it personally. Someone asked, do we have any tips for starting out on YouTube?
Just start, dude. Just do it.
Yeah.
That's it.
To be fair, that is actually the biggest thing. And chances are you're gonna get Garrett in your DMs, so, or in your comments section, so you'll get feedback within 2 seconds.
Yeah, you got one viewer.
Yeah, no, but I think Fred's definitely right. Just get out there and do it, and don't worry about like failing with it, because you're not actually failing with it. like even if it feels like you're failing on YouTube, you're like it's not going well, or just remember that chances are a lot of other people have like felt that way. I mean, I think everyone here, or maybe not everyone here, I'm not going to make assumptions, but at least one sort of time has like sort of been like, well, this is like really, sometimes it can be quite draining, I think, but I think that's just finding a balance really. But you'll learn as you do it. Like you can't really learn how to do it before even trying. Like it's the same with like game development and everything really. Like if you don't try, then you're not even gonna be able to. You won't know if it's for you or not. So
Yeah, I think for the people that, because I don't know if I didn't see the question, but if I think at least for the people that, sorry, I don't know how to speak English, the people that have already started YouTube and are still looking for tips or advice, I think the biggest thing, which I feel like everything has been talked on, so everything's going to be kind of like a cliche,
yeah,
but I would definitely say don't focus on the numbers, focus on your improvements. Like if it doesn't matter if the video that you put out after gets less views. If you think overall that video was a better quality video, then you are on the path to succeeding. If you are kind of stuck at this is how I make videos and you're just kind of doing the same thing every time, if you look back 10 videos from where you're at now and it's the same structure, same everything going on, then I would definitely say to try to fix that. I think that there's always something you can add, always something that you can try to improve at. So constantly be reassessing your work. And yeah, so don't worry about the numbers. The numbers will come eventually. Sometimes it happens sooner for others. But if you are making quality content consistently, then like eventually something will happen for you.
Yeah.
So
and I think
just
another thing with that is make sure you're enjoying it as well. Is probably the biggest thing. Like don't like if you're like forcing yourself to be consistent to the point where it's hurting you, then like it's fine if you take a break or two or whatever. But it is very important to be consistent. But like at least at the start, you can take breaks a lot easier than you would do if you're starting to find success. And even when you're finding success, you can still take breaks. Like you're not entitled to anything. Like it's your content, and it's important to keep that in mind. But yeah, Rob also asks, what games do you guys love to play?
Halo.
Oh, that was a quick response. Have you always been a Halo fan then?
No, I started off with Mario Sunshine on the GameCube, and then I was a Nintendo fanboy, and I love Nintendo. And then when I got older, I jumped on Halo. So Nintendo and Halo.
Dang.
Yeah, definitely Nintendo as well. I had a Nintendo console from when I was born to now, and I mean, I play other things. I think mainly I play indie games now. When I have time, I will more than likely play some kind of indie game. I think Risk of Rain was the first actual indie game that I played, which was I don't know, it was a really good game. I really like roguelikes, I guess.
Yeah, they're good. They're very good. Garrett, what do you like to play?
Yeah, me, I grew up on like Xbox 360, so a lot of FPS like Call of Duty, Halo. And then I guess more so now it's either that or like rich story games like Fredrik said, like Mirror's Edge, Assassin's Creed. Although right now I'm currently playing a Kerbal Space Program again, so that's been a lot of fun because I've had good memories of that, and getting back to it is fun.
Yeah, that's like my childhood. That's what I played. I mean, that kind of tells you what I grew up with. I grew up with the whole indie scene blowing up, so you know, for me it was like indies were that was everything. Although my first console, well, it wasn't a console, but my first thing that I played on was a PSP. And apparently I was like 3 or something. I don't know. I played on a PSP. I can't remember what it was, but yeah. Yeah, it was. It's kind of weird. I don't know what I really play now. Like there's too many different things that I play now that like I can't really put my finger on one. I don't know. Recently, I've kind of like really enjoyed AAA games this year. I don't know what it is, but I've been enjoying those. But I'd say recently, what was my last game I played? I couldn't even tell you. Like, it was probably like, I don't know. I really have no idea. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm quite into like multiplayer party games and stuff, like a lot more like chilled things, like especially like local multiplayer games. They're like my favorites, you know, like they've always sort of really inspired me as a developer as well. So like in the long run, that is like if like local multiplayer was more sustainable, which sadly it isn't anymore, then I probably would have gone down that route. But you know, that's sadly how it is right now. You have to do online multiplayer, or else like, yeah, you're not gonna get anywhere. In terms of like multiplayer, the multiplayer scene. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, there is the Steam Remote Play, but I don't think that's really that hasn't kicked off the scene as much. You know? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sure that as time progresses, things will get better, and then maybe like that the local scene will kind of come back a little bit more. But I think overall, people are just swapping over to online altogether. So
Yeah.
it'll never be as good as like in engine doing online multiplayer. Those like Steam Play Together or Parsec or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree with you there. I love developing multiplayer games. I think it's super fun. Because a lot of it's just you're playing the game to balance it, and I think that's awesome.
Well, and you test with your friends.
I agree with you.
So I think that's what's pretty cool about it. Like, especially if you sort of know how the game works, right? You can like really use that to your advantage. You're like, haha. Yeah, you put in like a cheat code for yourself and nobody knows it.
Yeah. Yeah, Oliver Brown in the chat is talking about Fall Guys. I don't know when this game became a thing. I literally I was on Twitter one day, not even that long ago.
Maybe it was trending like maybe 2 days.
Dark. Holy crap! That game came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
But I do want to play it. It looks pretty fun.
Yeah, it is pretty fun. I don't know how much longevity it's got, but it is fun.
Oh no!
Like, I mean that could just be me. I don't know, but you know, like I feel like it's a really good game, but like I can't really put my finger on like what it would be, but like I don't know if it will last. Like, I mean, it'll probably last a couple years, which you know that's pretty good, but you know, it's hard to say. I guess I don't know. I mean, it's been fun when I've played.
I guess it's just the replay value.
Yeah. I think
replay
sort of,
value is there.
It's a sort of thing where like you have to play with your friends with it, right? Like that's like, as with a lot of multiplayer games like that, like basically every game is pretty amazing, like with friends, right? Like, you know, you find your best memories from friends. Even though for me, like my favorite type of games is actually, well, it sort of depends. Like local multiplayer, and then it goes single player. It's weird, and then I'm like, okay, now online multiplayer is interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I think Fall Guys the marketing was really well done. Like there's no doubt about it. And like no matter what perspective you really see it at, like it's very clear that they've done something right in that department. Like it was trending, like a few weeks or a month ago or whatever it was. Like it was on like the Twitter like trending page, like at least two or three times a week. It was it was really crazy. Like, yeah, I think the whole
Yeah.
bright atmosphere of it was quite inviting. I reckon, like, not necessarily like the bright colors, but like the atmosphere itself was like very, it was happy, and I think that's it sort of came at the right time because people are quite well, because of everything going on and everything like that. Like, it's quite nice to have something that's not, you know, super serious and stuff. Like, you can sort of, it's a lot more lighthearted, I think. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I think about it.
I
Garrett,
definitely have to check it out after the stream.
yeah, Garrett, have you had a chance to try it out?
I haven't played Fall Guys. No, I've been watching a good amount, but I haven't
Yeah.
played it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does look fun because I think going on the topic, I think what kind of helped it is it kind of has like the selling point of being like this like sort of arcadey silly game.
Mm-hmm.
I think I sort of first saw it it was Game Dev Unlocked. He was talking about his game The First Tree and how like one of the selling points of that was the fox. And I think like when games like have that sort of like core thing that kind of attracts it, like a fox, or if it's like that arcadey style, or like the Kerbals and Kerbal Space Program, or like one of my favorite subreddits is I forget what it's called, but it's basically like it's a bunch of posts of like crazy physics from games, like stuff like totally accurate battle simulator where just like stuff goes absolutely crazy. And like when you get moments like that, I think that definitely helps a lot with the marketing, which is probably why like Fall Guys is doing so well, because there's just so many like moments that can happen that are worth sharing.
Yeah, yeah, and it's pretty wacky as well. And I think also like the fact that it was like, it's like sort of like a game show. It's trying to mimic a game show sort of like feeling. Like,
True.
a lot of people grew up with game shows. Like, like basically everyone sort of grew up with that on their TV in the background. Like, I mean, maybe, I don't know. At least for me, that was like what was on a lot. But yeah, I mean, Fred, what are your thoughts on Fall Guys?
I think they made a game at the right time when people wanted something colorful. I also think they just monopolized on tuning that battle royale plus the party game thing.
Yeah.
Because it was a first timer for that. I'm sorry for having my room pink. I'll switch it to blue. I think it just has that visual appeal.
Yeah.
It's a very good looking game.
Yeah. I think they've done a good job with it. I think the game is also really quite well polished as well. Like, that should come as a pretty like standard thing for games, but like there are times where a lot of games, they don't that the polish isn't always up to scratch. Like, like I remember, because I remember when Sekiro came out first, and I played that, and like, yeah, that was like right on the launch day. I think there was like a bunch of bugs with it. If I remember, I can't remember if it was Sekiro. It could have been something else. I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely it wins over a lot of audiences. I think it's got a broad appeal. It's not like a niche. Like, like if you make a roguelike game, like nobody really cares about them at the moment. So, it's sort of how it is.
You definitely need a very unique selling point now, for sure, because obviously it's a huge market and things are a little bit saturated, but I think that there's still a lot of potential to find success in indie game stuff. So yeah, I mean, just make sure that you have a proper selling point. Obviously, Guys is a very big indie game. But like, there's a lot of games that are like solo or a couple people on a team and blow up really hard, like Stardew Valley and things like that. So yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one, but I think that's Yeah, with the whole Fall Guys thing. It's just, yeah, I mean, right time. You know, it's a depressing time in the real world. So getting a nice distraction in the virtual one, I think really helps people out a lot. And I think that's another cool thing, that it's like games at this point are like, it's not just, I mean, it is a form of entertainment,
But
but
it's like an escape.
it's a lot more than that. You
Yeah.
know, it's like it can create drastic changes in people's lives and things like that. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think going back to Fall Guys one last time, because I think it is interesting. Their marketing campaign is quite interesting. But the I'm not sure if you knew this, but they sent out 200,000 keys to content creators and like everyone. So like that probably was a pretty big that probably is a
Power
pretty
move.
big yeah, that's probably a pretty big driving force of why it was quite successful. Because as someone just said there, like the like the Twitch sort of like scene, like it really plays a huge role in popularizing a game. But yeah, I think that it's, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see, and I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go. It's hard to say, but yeah. What's the I don't know. What else? What else should we what else is there to talk about?
If you guys have questions, ping Matt in the chat. Ping Matt
Yes.
in the chat. Have questions. Got a
Garrett,
question.
how's the whole? Oh, there you go. Never mind. What are your favorite or least favorite parts of game dev?
It's like Garrett started that
For
one.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Garrett.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess my favorite, I guess is just like overall like coming up with ideas and just like the creativity of it, because especially like when you're sort of like designing a world, like it can kind of be cool to like pretty much create anything. So I think it's cool to I guess really design, like coming up with how stuff works together, like the backstory behind stuff. Even though I haven't gotten too far in that yet, it's cool to really like imagine something and then actually create it and then connect
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And then I guess least favorite I guess is music. Like I like finding good music, but I'm not a musical person and I don't really know how to use the music software, and I don't really care to use it or learn how to use it. So I like stopped, I guess maybe a couple years ago, making music, because like whatever I would make, like someone could do it like 10 times better in like a quarter of the time. So I was like, might as well just give it up. I'd rather just like find good music that fits and then
Right.
mesh that with the actual game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have my piano over there. Or keyboard, not piano. God, yeah, I have a grand piano in my room.
Yo, play something.
You think I can play anything? No, I just have it there. It's for aesthetics. No, I tried to learn about a year ago or so, but I just got it out again, and I'm trying again. I don't know. It's quite good stress relief, I think. I don't know, like I think like especially when you should, you know, with in terms of like, oh god, why is everyone saying play? I can't. If I could, then I would, but I can't. But yeah, it's very important in terms of like getting a balance and stuff. Like between game dev and real life and stuff, because some people, you know, they accidentally like. You know, they take too much time into game dev and they don't dedicate time to themselves, which, you know, is not a positive thing. But yeah, I don't know. My favorite thing, I don't know. What's your favorite thing, Reece?
It's got to be coming up with game ideas, I guess. That I don't know. I used to do that as a kid. I would
Yeah.
just sit with my
same.
brother and we would, write down a bunch of game ideas and but I think that it's really cool when things actually start coming together. I'm finding that with Monster Tower, things are just kind of actually it's funny. Mark Brown made a video on this. I think it was his latest video. And it's the idea of kind of like the game makes itself. So things kind of just naturally fall into
Yeah.
place as it happens and I'm finding a lot of that happening with my game. And so I think that just coming up with the ideas and the actual game design portion of it is really fun. I love looking at, like the GDC talks and game design videos and stuff like that to better my knowledge so that I'm more prepared.
Yeah.
And then I can actually use that to making video games and stuff. So that's definitely the best thing,
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So
And what would you say is your least favorite thing to do?
least favorite would be probably the tedious portion of coding. So when you just have these mindless tasks that you just have to do, and you're not doing anything new, you're not learning anything new, you're just kind of like, right, I have to do, I have to put in a platforming code or something, or just something that you've already done and you're just kind of doing it over and over. That's probably my least favorite part.
Yeah.
Just the constant repetitiveness that comes with coding sometimes.
Yeah. What about you, Fred? What would you say is your favorite thing to do?
I love doing art. End of the story. And if I can say what I don't like, it's when I make something and I go, damn, that was some sweet ass code. Let me just it doesn't work. And then you just have to sit for 5 hours, figure out where you forgot to put the parentheses or something.
Yeah. Well, one thing, if I was to say my least favorite thing,
Bug fixing
is bug fixing. Well, sometimes bug fixing can be quite not fun. It's never fun, but it's like rewarding at the end. Like you get a lot of like motivation from it. But my least favorite thing is this is something that I've faced, but the least favorite thing that I've faced ever is like having to build to. I'm looking at them right now. Yeah, like having to build to another platform, and then you have to debug it without having a console. That I kid you not, that is literally the worst thing, because I have to figure out what's gone wrong without actually knowing what's gone wrong. So you have to like figure it out. But yeah, like it's really it really hurts your brain. But my favorite thing, I mean, I don't know. I can't really think of a favorite thing because they're quite equal. My favorite thing is probably, I don't know. Coming up with like a story is quite fun for me because I've always wrote like books beforehand. Well, I say books, like little novels and stuff. And it's always been like that. That's kind of why I got into game dev anyway. Was because like I wanted to show off my like stories in another form rather than like reading and stuff. So that's like my main motivation for why I got into it. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the majority of game dev. I think it's just like when it takes a long time, like if it takes like multiple days, like then I can be like, oh no, like 2 days or 3 days to fix one bug that's like just changing one line and then another line, and it doesn't work, then you have to change the other line. It's like, and it just, and then you're like, oh, that was my fault as well. And it's like, damn it, I caused that. Where do you guys see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now.
In a mansion. That'd be interesting. That'd be a different different
Dude, I just want to be in a house. I just want a roof.
Yeah.
House. Okay.
In 5 years, I see myself probably doing a similar sort of thing to what I'm doing now, but just better, I guess.
Scale.
Yeah, more professional. Because, you know, that's something that I'm really good at, you know. No, it's fun though. But I don't really know where I see myself though. Like I can't really think, oh yeah, I'm gonna be like super successful, because that's not really how game dev works for the large majority of of the game devs. Like, I think it's the whole, like, there's a very loud minority, like, because of how like the games are marketed and stuff. Like, if a game does really well, like, it seems to sort of like just be like, oh yeah, indie games are always successful and stuff, you know. Like, that's what Reece, you touched on that in your 4 year of game dev video, where, like, you know, you said, like, you know, it's not actually like sunshine and like rainbows all amazing, you know. Like, it's just a lot of it is like masked by the successful indie games. And like, I think that's the whole good thing about YouTube, really, like the game dev scene on YouTube, because that has been increasing rapidly the past 2 years. Like, it's crazy. And like, even AAA companies are getting in on the action. I'm not sure if you've seen, they've been doing like dev diaries and stuff, and like, it's like, you know, it is really interesting. But like, you know, you start seeing actually how difficult making a game really is. Like, you know, it's not just like you can, you know, do like one thing and then it's done. Like, there's a hell of a lot that goes into it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Where do you guys see yourselves? Is there anywhere? Or how about like? Never mind. I was gonna say, where would you like to be, but that's pretty stupid question, because everyone wants to be successful.
Yeah. I think same boat as you. I think we talked about this in the undercover podcasts, Matt, that we were doing a little while ago. But I think you were saying that you wanted to do project management, and I agree with you. I feel like in 5 years, I hope to be doing games as a hobby, but also as a career, doing primarily project management for the, you know, the work side, and then just kind of making games in my spare time. That so I feel like I'm still doing things. I'm still improving my skills and being an indie developer. But I don't know. I've been really liking doing project management, and I've gotten, I think, pretty organized. I would say in how I schedule my time or my weeks, months, things like that. So I think probably I'll end up doing some kind of project management on video games and things like that.
Yeah. Project management is, for me, something that's like, yeah, that's something that I really want to do. And like, once I can like sort of have a bit more stability and stuff, then that is definitely sort of route I would want to go down. But like, for now, I want to sort of like universalize that. I don't know if that's a word, but like, you know, have skills across the board sort of thing. Like, so like, you know, if someone is struggling with one thing, like, I can help them out with that with a bit more ease, like, than, you know, just having specialized stuff. Like, that's what I see for myself. Garrett, where do you see yourself?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to answer, because I feel like if you asked me a year ago, my answer would be completely different.
Yeah.
But I hope, I think, at least what I want now, I want to be in the industry somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be great to be in indie, but I realize that's hard, and I think that it'd also just be valuable to get industry experience. You know, even if it's at a huge company and you're only like a small cog in the wheel, it's good to learn from people who have experience.
And you get your name in the credits.
A lot of stuff. Yeah. It'd be nice to like save up a little bit, and even if it's like I work in the industry for however many years and just like save up, and then maybe a year like really dedicate myself to like indie or something.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. But and then there's also the potential side of me that might do something with martial arts, but we'll see what happens with that.
I reckon Garrett's actually planning like world domination with his martial arts. Okay, like I've seen him in his devlogs. Okay, like he's He's not messing about. You know, he's training to take over the world. Okay, so just keep your eye out for Garrett. He just rolls up next to your house. Hey everyone.
You just want to be on my good side, and we're good. It's not hard to get my good side.
Wait, no, this explains why Garrett puts comments in everybody's comment section. He's trying to put us into a full sense of security. We think we're safe, but in actuality, we're the first targets.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't. You guys are last. I'm saving you guys.
We're definitely in on it. No, I wasn't supposed to say it, but we're definitely in on it.
Oh my God. No, Reece, we're supposed to be talking about that outside of the stream. God.
I'm sorry.
How about you,
My
Fred?
mistake.
Where are you? What do you think you're going to be doing in 5 years?
Oh man, I think we're gonna be working at some nice software company, possibly doing UX or something, or just all around everything. Because I know the art side, and I'm learning. I'm doing a uni degree in computer science, so I think I got the full package, probably pretty much. So I'll be working at some. We have a huge scene of software companies in Sweden.
Yeah.
Maybe work on that little small startup called Spotify. If you've heard of it, who knows?
I don't know what Spotify is. I use
And then just to do pixel art freelancing on the side as a hobby. That'll earn me a little bit of money so I can buy myself nice computers.
yeah. I don't know. I think it's hard to really say to predict your future, because things can really drastically change in the space of 2 months. So it's crazy.
Hard to plan out 5 years. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Very hard. Very hard.
Do you guys do game jams occasionally? I haven't done one in a while. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I mean.
Yes, I participate in jams.
I like them, but it's do I actually have the time for them? I don't know.
Yeah, they're getting pretty stressful.
Yeah.
I feel like every time I do a game jam,
it's
more and more stressful.
1,000 people in there. There's 20,000 people participating, and you're like, I remember when Ludum Dare was that was the big one. That was the biggest game jam, and then GMTK came over and was nah, and then there's all these other jams. So I don't know, it's hard to hard to predict. I just saw Ollie's message asking if you've done any game jams.
Yeah, that was fun. No, I definitely would do more collaboration jams. I think that's a good thing to do, because you get content out of it as well. I probably won't be doing any solo game jams anytime soon. Yeah. But no, I love collaborating. It's a lot of fun.
What's each dev's #1 tip for getting out of a productivity rut? Asking for a friend.
Chips. Oh. Guys. You might have to cancel his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Tips. I would say if you're in a productivity rut, my best advice would be, well, first of all, I think it depends on how far along you are in your development, because as I was saying before, everyone's different, but I feel like at least the first month or two is it's your honeymoon phase. Mm-hmm. You're infatuated with this game idea and you want to see it come to life, and you're doing all that you can to make it happen. But then as time goes on, you realize that things take a lot longer, and you can't just spend an afternoon and then your game is like 100% different from what it is. So I think, yes, first of all, going into game development knowing that it's going to be like that is something that you need to be aware of. But also when you're in that, you gotta, I guess, just reassess. Game development becomes less about making drastic changes and more about small accomplishments along the way, and kind of rewarding yourself for committing to something. Because I think like 80%, probably like 95% of games that are started don't get finished.
Yeah.
So I think as long as you're kind of using your determination to push past when your motivation isn't there, that will definitely help you. But specific tips, I don't really know off the top of my head. That's all. Like, I just a change in mindset, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Is the stream buffering for anyone else, or is it just?
I think it just did for me a bit, but it's good now.